reasons, 4 things, and that's for God, for Jesus, for the words, and for the kingdom. If you do it, you sell everything, you start from scratch for those 4 things, and then it works. But it won't work unless you do it for those 4 things.
Well,
I mean, I'm not trying to teach you. I'm just being emphatic that anybody who looks at this, I mean, it's for everyone, but it doesn't work for anyone unless the person does it for those 4 things. For God, for Jesus, for the Word, for the kingdom. And he says those 4 things. And then it works. And then you get it all back. And I'm not sure how much time it takes. But see, I'm not sure that you did it for all those reasons when you were young because you didn't necessarily understand. But I think you did.
I think you did.
But you hadn't got to the world yet. You know, part of it, which took 10 years for you to wade through it to now, and now doing it again, doing it. It means more to me now that you're doing it. I mean, that you're doing it now than it did when you first did it. I mean, I wanted you to do it to qualify, having done it in God's eyes, Jesus' eyes.
And
I'm so happy that you did it. It's just so thrilled. But then, I knew you hadn't faced the world yet, and I didn't know exactly what that was going to do to you. But now that that's over.
Well, I feel the same way as I did then, that it's just stuff, and I understand why he says what he says, and it's not just do this so I know you follow me. Right. No, it's like, why? What do you get out of it? And I got everything he intended out of it, and I always have. So now it's really no different. It's just I have stuff to get rid of. It's like the lesson is, the perspective, the knowledge is not that much, there's not a whole lot adding on to my experience and wisdom. It's always, from a young age, I've understood why, because the whole fucking world is not of God. And so just knowing that, I don't have to think much about it, being attached. But then I'll look at like a $7 bookmark with all the classics, 100 books written on the bookmark, still in its package. I've had it for like 14 years. Why do I still have this bookmark? And so it's like every item I have to, dance around every item. Like, what does it mean to me? What do I want for it? Do I want anything for it? Who would enjoy it? Who would appreciate it? Just like every item, I have to go through this whole process. And so I'm just like, no, I just, it felt good. I had a black trash bag with some garments that still had tags on it. $45 sweater, $35 sweater, $50 hoodie, just I just put it in the bag. I just did it.
Oh,
It's crazy. I mean, that's just crazy. Like, I think about all of the money that it all retailed for, and all the money the transaction, that truly all of it, like, and just for it to just be gone. So it's like, that's fine. Before I was with Jared, I was very meticulous. My credit score was 820. I was very intent and focused on the word, and everything I did was with purpose. And then when I got with Jared, I still knew my purpose with him, but because of drugs, I guess drugs, and because of his talented ways of maneuvering through the world, it just got muddied, watered, like muddled. And like I said, I never felt like a fear of, oh my gosh, I'm not on the right path. I've never felt that. I was always felt protected, and that, my soul is with God forever, eternity. But what I didn't feel anymore was being in control. I didn't have control like I had always had. Did what I wanted, when I wanted, who I wanted to do it with, and I just really had a very easy upbringing. I don't feel like, except for a couple of your drunken episodes, but you've so powerfully overcome that, and I have too with you, so that I don't like childhood trauma that creeps up in my life and manifests somehow. Now it's all been dealt with. There's very little of it anyways to be dealt with. So now it was always, or with Jared, it was always, it wasn't that muddled. I knew the problem. I was stuck between drugs and Jared. If I couldn't, I've said this 100 times, but I'd either have to be with Jared and have drugs, or be without Jared and no drugs. And I could not decide. I couldn't, it wasn't an option. It was just like, I was just still walking in this life, waiting for intervention, which finally happened. And so that was the turning point of me gaining back my power and control of my life. And last night, after I said my prayer, I felt so light and so right, and it's carried on through today, and it's I'm just that much closer to feeling in the same magnitude of empowerment as I had years ago. And getting rid of all my stuff is going to be my ultimate empowerment, where I am in control again. So, I don't know about making money or where I'm going to live or what, but at least I know I'm in control and I'm doing God's will.
And there you go.
And that's all
Do
you
what
need.
Jesus says. Eat what you are. And that's all you have to do. It's so simple. And then don't make plans.
Yeah.
And just let things happen to you.
Yeah.
Without trying to, maneuver and...
Yeah, because that's how I always was. I always was in the flow.
Yeah.
Right. And it was effortless to just be.
Yes. Like that. And it's hard to not want to take the reins and, call the shots.
Everybody says that, but for me, it's easy.
Yeah. And once a person gets a handle on how to do that, it is easy. It is easy to do, and it's so much easier than holding the reins.
It's like people should let go just to see. Will he catch me?
That's a good point. That why aren't there more people putting God to the test? Putting his words to the test. That's what I did. I mean, I'm going to test you, God, not some attitude like that, but okay, I did what Jesus says, now let's see what's behind it, type attitude-ish. Wow, and there is something behind it. And if they weren't living, now, Jesus died, he was a human being, and he walked the earth, and it's all documented, and that's a fact, and he died, and to think about him living now, but he came back from the dead, and that was witnessed and documented. What was I going to say there? But it's sort of a hard concept to think of Jesus living now when he died. 2,000 years ago, he's talk about Jesus as though he's, sitting right here next to us, living. That's difficult to grasp that reality, but the glimpses make it a reality. And without the glimpses, if Jesus, we would have no glimpses if Jesus was not alive, living, alive. But he rose from the dead. He walked out of the tomb. He was raised up from the dead. That was witnessed and documented. But then he disappeared, and just a difficult concept to grasp that Jesus is still alive. It's always been
not for me, because
Well, it's not for me either,
Death
but I
is,
mean for people, just the general populace in the world to think about Jesus is still living, you know. Um, I mean, what am I trying to say? It's just the the idea that Jesus is living. Try to convince someone of that, or have them believe that too.
yeah.
Without the glimpses, it's sort of embarrassing almost. It's not embarrassing. It's sort of never mind.
Um, you finished?
Yeah, not sure there was much there to begin with, but yeah, I'm done.
Um, when I was 28, right before I met Jared, I was running every day. I was in the best shape of my life, and probably at the peak of my physical features. And I, I was celibate, and I was working in a good profession, and I was following Jesus. I mean, everything was just I just felt so at peace with myself. Um, and then uh, I quit Dr. Duggars because they told me I was going to have full time, and I was barely working 12 hours a week. So I've told you this, but I said one day, look, I can make more money off of unemployment than working here. Can this please be my last day? This is not what I signed up for. And he said, um, sure. I pay monthly for employment pay all these years. I might as well get some, use out of it, or use the service. So that was my last day, and I got unemployment. I got like 1680 a month
1680.
without working. Just
Ah,
yeah. And Laura and I were hanging out every day, and she was dating a guy who introduced her to cocaine. And I'd never done any drugs. I'd never been around any drugs. I had no idea about drugs. But she was my best friend, and we hung out every day. And it took months and months of her doing it around me. I would leave the room or turn away because it was disturbing, and I didn't want it to be in my world. And after months and months of that, eventually led to a question. Well, does it sting? Or, whatever. Just the conversation led to me watching her do it, and
shoot up.
no, just snorting cocaine.
Huh?
Just snorting cocaine.
Oh.
She never did heroin or shot anything up. But one day, I don't know how we came up with this, but I drank like 6 cups of coffee so that I could be on her level. And I wiped down the entire kitchen, every single cupboard and handle in Mom's, like the entire cupboard, all of them. And, like, took me like an hour, and she was just sitting at the table on the computer or something, and we're just blah 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 blah. But so it was like I was trying to get a feel without feeling it. And I mean, my point is, it just finally led to, after her being like, just try some. And I was like, terrified. But the first line I did was in her car in the Taco Bell parking lot, off of a CD, probably like 10 or 11 at night. We're about to go to a club, and I didn't feel anything, didn't sting, it didn't, I didn't, I didn't feel anything. I was like, is it even in there? But, because it makes it kind of numb. So, I don't know. It's kind of nice that you don't have any sensation when you do that, because otherwise it'd be really hard. But, I just barely, I did like I didn't do enough to feel anything. But, like the next weekend, I did a bigger line, and it wasn't like I was doing cocaine all the time all of a sudden. It was just, at parties or on the weekend, or, it wasn't like a problem. I definitely was not all into it. Just experiencing. And then, the next drug I tried, was Molly, which is like a more organic form of ecstasy. And I probably told you all this, but just let me finish. And actually doing Molly was probably one of the greatest decisions I've ever made, because I can't explain it, but it just opens your mind to, like, I had any insecurities I had no more of it. It's like, it just, it's hard to explain, but the reason why I did it was not to fulfill or to fill some void. It was to expand my awareness, and experience as much dynamics of life. And that's what happened. And it was exactly what I had hoped it would be, and so much more. But then Laura's friend Frank gave me a Oxycontin or Oxycodone, Percocet, a pain pill for when you come off of Molly, when you're coming down. It helps. And it definitely helped. I mean, it was like this whole new high, and it was just like this most amazing feeling I have ever experienced in my entire life. And so a few days later, Frank sold Laura the cocaine, and he had a personal stash of opiates. I came to understand because I bought my first bag of cocaine, and when I met him, I asked if I could buy a couple of those pills, and he said that he doesn't actually sell them, but he'll give me a guy's number who does, which was Jared. And so, I'd only done cocaine a handful of times, Molly once, and opiates once, and then I met Jared, and Jared was doing cocaine and opiates every day, and had been for 10 years. So I went from, I just jumped all in, not even knowing, like I wasn't even concerned. I didn't realize that was gonna happen. I just still felt in control, and I was on unemployment, going out all the time, dressing up, just having the time of my life. And um, you know, I Laura and I, we literally went out at least 4 nights a week to clubs, dancing all night long. And before I met Jared, for years, I was always the designated driver. And so I was very comfortable, in the club scene, enjoying myself to the max, completely sober. Nobody knew I was sober because I would, vibe off of all of their energy and, not pretend like I was high, but just inevitably just kind of, you know, mirrored their high kind of. But I felt even more high because I knew inside that I was sober, and I never told anybody. And I was never like, no, I don't drink, or no, I don't do that. I just never said anything because I didn't want people to be like, oh, she doesn't drink, or label me as anything. So I just never said anything what I do or don't do. I'm getting to a point here that all the things that people, well, like the most fun, exhilarating experiences that people have in their 20s, partying, drugs, and dancing, sex, or that whole scene. It was amazing couple years, or a year, but it very quickly shifted from amazing to this is dangerous, this is a problem. And that was about 6 months after I was with Jared. It didn't take more than 4, 5, 6 months for me to be like, well, I'm in a world of shit, and I don't. So for 10 years, I fought this, I mean, if Jared hadn't sold it, and if he only used once in a while, then I have no idea what my life would look like. I mean, maybe I was always supposed to go down a very dramatic addiction phase to be where I am now. I don't know, but that's what happened, so that's what it is. And when I go through my bouts of depression, it, like I said, it's because everything outside of me is the world, which is all bullshit. And and now that I've been through everything that I've been through, I don't have that lifestyle to lean into to snap me out of depression. It's like I have to now, no drugs, no clubs, no boys, everything that was everything to me, that was so amazing. It's like now that's not there. How do I enjoy my life without drugs and dancing and mingling with people high? And it only took me, a couple seconds to recognize that, thank goodness I was in that scene for a few years sober. So I had the experience of enjoying my life probably more full than I'm almost sure. I enjoyed my life much more than those who were around me high. And so I was quickly able to see that I don't need drugs or clubs or being around people that are very eccentric and amusing, entertaining, all of that. I was able to see that I am just that much closer to feeling how I did before, empowered, in control, on the right path, as perfect as I can, and I can do all of that without drugs and clubs and boys and work out and go on hikes and read books.
What?
Work out, go on hikes and read books.
Oh,
and
yeah. There you go. If that's a phase coming up, I think you'll enjoy that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess my whole point was that I was a little struggling with the fact that that period of my life is over, and how do I become even brighter, more fulfilled than all of that? And I can see it happening. It's not there yet, but my whole point is that I see it. It's going to happen. My future of being who I have been trying to be for so many years now.
All right.
And yeah. I don't...
Well, you're making it happen. You're making it happen with your attitude and your actions. That's what's saving you.
I don't regret the darkest paths that I've walked down, because I know that it was all for, most likely, so that I have the ability to connect with whoever that I will on a level that I would never have been able to even come close to touching, because I was such a goody, I had no concept of the other side of life, drugs and not caring about consequences and all that. So I appreciate myself now that, because I remember feeling a little like a phony when I would try to help somebody see something, knowing that they are in a really dark place. Like, all you have to do is just be happy. Why can't you just be happy? Now I can appreciate how you can't just be happy. You have to work it all through, one item at a time.
Yeah. Well,
And now I have nothing to fear because I've walked through the worst.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's sort of what I went through. Ish. But I drank, I did that by myself, I didn't go to clubs and I didn't party and, I didn't go places. I didn't hang out with people. I had my friends, that we got together and as often as we did, but I didn't lead the high life, that you did. I just drank and got smothered. Brought everybody else down around me. Somehow. Well, I'm happy for you, honey. It's been a long road for you. I know. But I'm glad you made it. And, wow. You're one of the fortunate, it's kind of hard to find happiness after going down that road.
That's what I was trying to say. This is my daddy's house. I didn't realize the camera was facing down. I just thought it was really dark in here, so you couldn't see anything. But let's see. How do I switch it back? I can't flip it around, so I guess I'll just go like this. Hi, honey. I just wanted to record our conversation so that you had a better understanding of my relationship with my dad. It is very in depth, and we get carried away in conversation. Literally, we could talk for hours. And I needed you to see that so that you didn't have to question what happened, because you said you felt like something's off. Nothing's off. I'm so happy to be here and to get a few days. I miss you to death. I wish you were here. But he's about to come out of the bathroom, so I'm just going to put the phone down and I will call you tomorrow. I hope you get a chance to watch this 40-minute video to get to my personalized message here at the end. I love you so much, and thank you for listening and trying to wrap your head around my life. Hopefully it wasn't too heavy. But yeah, I'm glad I recorded it, because that's an inside look. That's a perspective of insight that very few people get to see into me. So yeah, it's like 12:30. way past my dad's bedtime, but he gets on a little bit of a buzz, a little bit of a high when I get here, and he can't go to sleep until we've talked some shit out. That's how it goes. But yeah, just want to say I love you. I'm thinking of you. Sorry that I didn't have a chance to call, but as you can see, I can't just be like, excuse me, I'm just gonna go make a phone call. Like, I haven't seen him in 2 months, and I could have messaged you. I didn't hear you message me. I could have been like, sorry, we're still talking, but time just flew by. I didn't even realize that it had already been 10-15 minutes. So again, I'm sorry, and just know that that's kind of how things go with me and my dad. Time just slips away when I'm here. But hope you're sleeping good, hope you're dreaming good, and I miss you. I will talk to you tomorrow. Good night. I love you. There's Maximus. Hi, baby. He's my baby. He's such a big dope. He's such a big dope. I missed you so much, honey. I miss you so much. There's a mugga mugga. There's a mugga mugga. Mugga 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 mugga.